been a while since I've done like a little golden smoky eye. I'm gonna be officially turning 32! The grey hairs, the fine lines, the collagen is depleting as we speak. I feel like it was only 5 days ago that I blew out the cake on my 31st birthday. I honestly felt like when I was 29, going into my 30s, I kind of had a little bit of a breakdown. I felt like I put so much pressure on myself to accomplish certain things by the time I was 30. And now that I'm turning 32, I've learned so much about myself in the last 2 years that I would love to break down with you guys in this video. I want to do like a chatty get rid of me, a little life update, give you guys some advice on what I've learned over the years. These are the things that I really want to remind myself. So guys, go grab a snack because we are going deep in this video. So I actually went to a psychic a few years ago and she actually told me that my 32nd year is going to be one of the most important years of my life, and it could possibly be the year that I might even have kids. By the way guys, this is an eyeshadow cream stick for Bobbi Brown in the shade Cinnamon. I'm not really going to be talking about my makeup in this video. I'm just going to do like a basic bitch makeup, something that I do all the time. If you do like my base in this video, I just filmed a whole routine breaking down how to make your makeup look flawless. So that video is coming out. The first life lesson that I've learned, especially this year, is to live in the present moment. Life is to be lived, and for the longest time I used to be so scared, so frugal to spend money. I have always been the sensible friend. If you've been following me for a long time, you would know that I never even used to drink alcohol before. I used to be work, work, work. I never ever prioritized living in the moment. I never prioritized just going out and living life and making friends. I actually went to EDC maybe 2 years ago and I had the best time of my life. I met so many amazing cool people, and I even said on that trip, I'm gonna come back every single year. That was actually when I hit my 30s. When I hit my 30s, I went through a little bit of a midlife crisis. It was also just after lockdown as well, and I felt like I had just rediscovered myself, and I started to go out and meet friends and go out and party like I never partied before. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I went to a point where I was just living for the weekend. I did not want to work. I was just scraping by, doing the bare minimum. During this time, I grew so much as a person. I really learned that life is to be lived, and there is no point living to work. If anything, the last few years has really taught me that if there is something that I want to do and if there's an experience that I want to experience, I need to book it. I need to not wait for things to come up just in case, because when you're living life like that, you are just never actually truly living. You're just putting your life on standby. Obviously, there is a caveat to this, because you don't want to be on the other side where you're irresponsible and you're not working and you're constantly just going out every single weekend. That is not what I'm saying, okay? Because I've been there, I've done that. That is definitely not the right way to live. I'm talking about things like EDC or Coachella. Like, if that is something that you've always wanted to do, book the tickets, because you are never going to regret it. I really hope my future me watches this video back and really realize that like, you need to go and live life, because life is so short. You don't want to be one of those people that waits until they're old and retires to go traveling. Like, now while you're still young, now while you're still healthy. The next thing that I realized only just recently actually is that you don't have to share everything. This is quite like a bittersweet to kind of say online, because for the longest time I have always been a chronic oversharer. I am so trusting. I tell everyone my life's business, and really there is something called the evil eye out there. Not everyone has your best interest at heart, and I've had to learn that the hard way. Ever since I started social media, I used to share so much of my life. I used to feel like I had to share every single bit of my life. Now the older that I'm getting, I've started to really appreciate my privacy. I never thought that I would be that person. Like, I used to voluntarily disclose so much TMI information, and just going on this trip recently, that was the first time in a long time that I didn't feel the need to vlog everything, and I just wanted to live in the moment. Honestly, I can just say hand on my heart that it was so nice. Even if I haven't posted on my stories for a few days, I was completely fine. Before, there was a time where I was like, oh my god, no, I need to get out my camera, I need to film this. Or when there was a funny joke, I would have to get ground to say it again on camera, and before you know it, the moment was gone. I felt like when I was constantly vlogging my life, I would have to try to make things camera worthy, and that is very hard to do, guys. Sometimes life is just boring. Sometimes there's days where I'm just sitting on my laptop working. There's some days where I'm just editing for 5 hours straight and there's just nothing to vlog, and that is so fine. I felt like before I always had to be funny for the camera or put on this persona and like make myself look relatable, or I don't know, there's just something that I felt like I had to put on for the camera. I don't know what it is about being older, but you just care so much less about what people think about you, and I don't feel the constant need to just show what I'm doing all the time. And honestly, I do feel like after going to therapy, I realized that so much of me oversharing online is because I always felt like I never had a lot of friends to share my life with. So in a way, you guys are like my friends that I felt like I always had to kind of update you guys and have that kind of like chat with you guys instead. I really am at a stage in my life where I just don't feel like I need to overshare everything to try to be relevant anymore, and it's such a freeing feeling to have. The next tip that I have for you guys is it's okay to change your mind. I used to really beat myself up when I used to change my mind because I felt like I was so indecisive, and looking back, that's probably a reason why I have changed through so many different types of friendships, and I find it sometimes really hard to maintain friends because I change my interests all the time. Low-key, I would kind of feel guilty about it because I would make a decision and I'll go with it, and then I'll talk to my friend about it and I'll be 100%, and then next week I'll kind of change my mind and flip-flop paddywop around, and it used to drive me insane. But now I really do embrace the change, and I actually love the fact that I'm changing so much as a person. You know, before I used to be really scared about growing up, and I used to want to like hold on to my youth for as long as I can and like try to be that person that's always in their 20s, like young, cool and hip. But now I'm just accepting the fact that I'm a grandma sometimes. I like to just stay in, be a little bit of an introvert with my cup of tea and my dog on my lap. I'm actually getting to a point where I'm actually okay with that. The older that I'm getting less and less attached to my home, and I'm getting more okay with the idea of even moving to another country and living abroad. If you guys didn't know, my younger sister has actually moved over to Australia for a year, and I low-key look at her and I'm so jealous sometimes because I'm like, oh, I wish I would have moved and lived abroad when I was younger. And then me and Gran kind of had a conversation like, why can't we still move? You know, just because we have a home and just because we're a bit older now, that doesn't mean that we aren't able to move. Like, people pick up and move their life all the damn time. Recently, because I've been traveling to so many countries and I'm a bit older now and I have friends living in other countries, I'm starting to see what life could be like living not in the UK. It scares me, but it also makes me excited as well at the opportunity that other countries could bring. I would love to hear from anyone down below that has ever picked up their life and moved to another country. What is it like? Do you have any regrets? And would you recommend it? The next one I really had to grasp and really accept. Not everyone is gonna be like you, and that is fine. I used to get so butthurt when my friends wouldn't make the same amount of effort that I would make for them, and because of that, I used to kind of pull myself away from friendships. If you've been following my page for a while, you would know the subject of friendship is a very bittersweet one. I have always yearned for that best friend kind of relationship. I would always be disappointed when I would be the one that is really open and tells them my deepest, darkest secrets, but then I'd kind of get nothing back, and I'd always feel like it was always like a one-sided friendship. And I've just come to the realization recently that not everyone is gonna be as open as me, as trusting as me, and that is okay. I cannot put that pressure onto other people. If they want to share their business, then that is amazing, but if not, that is completely fine, and you are allowed to have different friendships for different reasons. You know, I would always kind of like get close to someone and then be really disappointed that they wouldn't reach out as much as I'm trying to reach out, or whenever I try to arrange something, it would always feel like I'm always trying to bug them to kind of see me, and I'd always kind of low-key kind of resent them because I'm like, why don't you want to hang out with me? But I've realized recently that everyone is completely different. Everyone has their own life that they're doing, and just because they're not constantly messaging me all the time to meet up every single weekend, that is so fine. I'm at a place now where I can happily stay indoors, chill with Rolo, even while Gran goes out, and not feel like I'm missing out on anything. I feel like that mindset has definitely come with age, because even when Gran used to go out, I used to be like, oh my god, okay, I need to book something, otherwise I'll just sit at home by myself. But now I'm at the stage where I'm like, bye Greg, see you later. Let me have the TV all to myself tonight. I think a lot of times as friends we could be disappointed with other people because we kind of have expectations of people. Just because you do something doesn't necessarily mean the other person has to do that for you, even though you would love that to happen. But there's a reason why there's only one of you, you know? I would low-key kind of retract myself and kind of like wait to see when the other person like reaches out, and then I'll be low-key depressed and sad because they never would reach out. So now I've kind of just let go of any expectations from people. If they want to hang out, great. If they don't want to hang around, great. And if I want to hang around with that person, I should be okay with just reaching out and not feeling like a burden on anyone. Okay, it's time for some eyeliner. How cool is this? This is a gel cushion eyeliner. It's from a brand called Judy Doll. Next piece of advice that I have for all you young folks out there is to make time for personal development. I feel like in the last year or so, as I've been really trying to like focus on myself and go to the gym and wake up early, meditate, do all my affirmations, I feel like my mindset has just evolved so much. Even for me to make this video, I feel like I've grown so much as a person. My advice for anyone out there that's going through maybe a hard time, that's kind of feeling maybe a bit lost in life, the answer is always to work on yourself. Make time for personal development. Being self-aware is probably one of the most empowering things that you could ever do for yourself. You are never gonna regret going to the gym, making time for yourself, to be improving yourself, learning, reading, expanding your mind. That's something you are never gonna regret. Before, I used to spend so much time constantly just scrolling mind-numbingly on my phone, thinking that, oh, I'm being productive by doing some like research on my phone. But really, being on your phone sometimes is the reason why you could be feeling so shit about yourself. Whether you know it or not, you are low-key comparing yourself subconsciously in your mind, especially online. There's always going to be someone that's prettier than you. There's always going to be someone that's better looking, that has more money, and that is what social media does to you sometimes. It makes you low-key feel like you are not appreciating your own life. Even if you are in that stage where you are looking at other people's lives and you kind of see that motivation, it's up to you to get off your ass and actually do something about it. This brings me on to my next point, which is stop the pity party. If you focus on the problems, it is only gonna bring more problems. Unfortunately, I have grown up in a very negative, glass half empty household. My parents were immigrants and I have grew up with a very much scarcity mindset. I used to be so scared to like spend my money, or I used to be so scared to buy myself nice things because I would low-key feel like I wasn't worthy of it. And I used to always find the negative in every situation. Even when things were going right, I would be like, oh, that would be so much better if that happened. But after reading this book called Manifest, highly recommend. It has taught me to get out of that scarcity mindset, and now I really try to focus on all the possibilities. And I noticed that the more I focus on the possibilities, the more opportunities come my way. That there's a saying for a reason, that misery loves company, and it's because whenever you feel miserable, you kind of attract misery around you. Now I'm really trying to change the way that I think. After going to therapy and reading and being self-aware, I really try to change my mindset and look at the positives. It is probably one of the biggest changes that I have had in my life recently, is to try to get rid of anyone that is negative around you, and you know, just create some boundaries. There's always going to be a positive and a negative in every situation, and it's up to you to be that person to look for the positives. And naturally, the more positive things you see, the more happier you are as a person. If any of the stuff that I'm saying to you guys is resonating with you, and you are also looking to maybe start your self-development journey, the one thing that I feel like has helped me so much is to start a gratitude journal, or just journaling in general. Oh my god, I feel like it is the free form of therapy. By journaling, it allows you to be aware of how you think. It is so easy, I think, in life to just plod along. You know, when you have bad days, to just hold it all in and you don't actually process how you actually feel. Ever since I started journaling, it's allowed me to reflect every single day when I open that journal. It makes me think of like, what went right today? Or what went wrong today? How did that make me feel? Why did I feel like that? And I just write out literally how I think. And then when you read it, you literally realize that like, it wasn't even a big deal. There's some days where I literally just write down like, I made a really nice lunch today and I was actually really proud of myself for trying a new dish. Little things like that, when you write it down, it makes you be like, oh yeah, I've done something new today and I've accomplished something today, and it makes you feel so much prouder of yourself. I just want to say, if you're watching this video and you just feel lost, or you feel shit, or you feel like you're not where you're meant to be in life yet, I want you to know that that is what's going to make you stronger. When you look back on it in hindsight, you really realize where you were was meant to happen, and it's meant to happen because it's meant to show you that you're meant to be a stronger person, and it really does make you who you are today. I'm gonna end it with this last one, and it's actually from a quote that I saw on TikTok, and it said, enjoy being in the process of becoming. I might get that tattooed on my left shoulder, guys. I love me a quote, and I love that quote so much because I feel like in the pursuit of trying to be better and trying to get the next goal and the next goal, sometimes you just get so consumed in what's next that you actually forget to be present. And I feel like I've always been that person that has always wanted and strived for more and is always scared of going back to my old life, that I find it really hard to be present and in the moment and live life for what it is. And sometimes when we're feeling down, we feel like that is what consumes us. And I really do feel like going into this next stage of my life, whatever it is, maybe motherhood, maybe being a business owner, this next stage of my life, I feel like I'm opening up and just be appreciative of the journey, not just the destination. I know you hear that all the time, but I'm really trying to ingrain that into my mind, that it's not when I reach that bit, that's when I'm going to be happy. It's the journey that's taking me there. That is what true happiness is, and to enjoy the moments of learning, you know? Guys, I feel like we've had a little therapy session today. If you enjoyed this video, please go check out the last video that I filmed talking all about my mistakes and regrets that I have in life. I also had like a very similar heart-to-heart video like this that I filmed very recently. So if you haven't checked that out yet, please go check it out. Make sure you subscribe. We are slowly growing my little YouTube family. And I want you guys to comment down below if there's any advice you'd give yourself for the next year of your life, okay? Pretend it's your birthday down below, girl. Or if you have any advice for me going into my 32nd year, please comment it down below. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys in next week's video. Bye.